All right, y'all. So I'm starting off with the bar, one plate on each side, a 45-pound plate, 45-pound bar. So you count the bar. So this is for people who are beginners and are starting off on New Year's. And in the end of this video, after the workout, I'm gonna talk about some other things, staying natty and stuff like that. So 135 pounds. I'm going heavy, so I'm not doing a bunch of reps on my warm up. For people that's just starting doing this, I don't feel like you need to go heavy. You probably need more rep work to practice the movement, practice getting the feel and what muscles you need to be using, your joints, how they need to be stacked and things like that. I got a video on how to deadlift. This I'm just showing y'all some stuff, right? So 225 pounds. I'm working my way up to my goal was at least 500 and some pounds, but I'm also telling y'all about knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. All right, there's a spectrum of how you lift every day or whenever you lift your sessions. All right, so yeah, you might not lift every day, but what I'm saying is, all right, you got ego lifting and you got lifting like a little, you know what I'm saying, but there's a wide range. There's levels. There's a lot of levels in between those. All right, either way, either extreme way, that's 315. Either extreme way is really bad for your workout. If you're not training hard enough, you're not going to get the results. And if you're training too hard, you might get the results, but then you're going to lose them when you get injured. All right, so 315, I did a rep. I could probably do 10 reps with that, but I don't do very high reps on deadlift. I feel like deadlift, to me, I use deadlift as a strict powerlifting movement. All right, so I'm not really trying to get hypertrophy with it, even though you're still going to get hypertrophy. You're going to get hypertrophy even with strength moves, and you're going to get strength even with hypertrophy moves. All right, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people won't agree with that. But what I'm saying right now is 405 pounds. Every time I put another 45 pounds on each side, that's 90 more pounds, right? So I like to even my bar out. I don't even like to distract myself. So I'm telling people that when I go to the gym, I focus on my workout. I even the bar out. It's too far this way, so I'm gonna have to move. It's too far this way, so I'm gonna have to move it that way, whatever. You don't gotta be perfect. I'm not using gloves, straps, chalk, nothing, a belt, nothing. But I do recommend those things. I'm doing that just to make it harder on myself. So the weight that I failed at today could have been easily done with any of those things included. But like I say, I've done 525, 535 with no belt, no gloves, no straps, no nothing. But I am on a diet, so that's not the reason. There's a million different reasons, but sometimes you just know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I throw another 50 pounds on there. That's 455 pounds. Easy weight. To me, I don't feel this weight right here even on a bad day. Today wasn't a bad day. I just decided not to lift my heaviest lift for the day. And I'm going to tell you the limiting factor. Time in between sets. Now, you need time in between sets, especially if you lift it heavy like this. You need more time than usual. Ain't no 10 seconds. Ain't no 1 minute. You need maybe 3 or 4 minutes, all right? But at the same time, like I said, there's a thin line between both. It's also a thin line between long time in between sets and short time in between sets. I took a very long time in between. I took like 15, 20 minutes in between my sets, and nobody messed with me today. It's just I couldn't bring myself to focus on lifting this. I was ready to lift it, and then I got unready. And once you get unready and you're not ready, leave it on the ground. Ain't nothing to prove to nobody. I done this weight a million times on camera. I got videos of me doing this and more. This is only $4.95. I was talking about not talking, focusing on the lift. Don't be talking to that guy. Don't be talking to that guy. People like to lift right there and face you and just go ahead and talk to you while you're lifting. Like, dude, that's dangerous. Don't do that. Let a person lift, all right? But that didn't happen today. But that happens way too often, all right? So New Year's beginners, a lot of times you're going to probably think people are acting funny towards you and they're trying to lift and whatever. Like, if they're going heavy and they're focused, see, I decided not to lift. It wasn't a fail. I just wasn't. I was like, nah. Now we made it to the other half of the video. And what do I want to talk about? Health is wealth, all right? Take care of yourself, all right? So we got people on the internet promoting being not natural, all right? They say they are, but they say they not, or whatever. They wishy-washy if they can make some money off of it. We got like Greg Doucette and Clavicular and all that. We already talked about the Clavicular situation with the Cybertruck and the other guy and all that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about not taking stuff for fitness, all right? People get into fitness because they want to be healthier, they want to live longer, they want to be stronger, they want to do all this stuff, but then they take these shortcuts. It's not worth it. Now, if I was to do that deadlift you seen, I would have done that and probably 200 more pounds. I probably would be doing like 700 pounds on the deadlift. I don't know. Yes, there's people that do 700 pounds naturally, but those are like, you know, outliers to the rule of natural strength. But I'm just saying, like, and it's also not just strength, it's also skill, all right? So I'm not tooting my own horn and saying I'm the best of the best of the best, but I can do I can do 3 times my body weight on the deadlift on a good day, sometimes a little bit more. But ain't that many people doing that. Some people can do 4 times their body weight, but that's very, 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 very rare. 1 in a million, right? Especially natural. 1 in 2, 3, 5 million, right? So, what I am saying though is this: the internet is saturated with unrealistic goals. All right. So if you really want to get into this fitness thing, you gotta have realistic goals. You gotta understand where you're coming from, and like I said, you gotta know how hard to push it, or you get injured. All right. So the quickest, fastest way to get down a flight of stairs is to just jump down the stairs. But then what's gonna happen? All right, then. So that's what I'm saying. Stop trying to rush things. Stop rushing your weight loss. Stop rushing your muscle gain. I ain't saying stand still either, definitely not. But I'm just saying, what I am saying is enjoy the journey, all right? If I was to grab a Sega Genesis controller and play the first Sonic the Hedgehog game and push up, down, left, right, hold A and press start, what does that do? That takes me, that's a code that lets me play any level of the game. I can go straight to the end and beat the game. But did I enjoy the game? I missed everything, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward a movie to the end and see what happened. I missed everything. Same thing with your workouts, all right? Let's say your potential naturally is to get about 180 pounds shredded. That's crazy. I ain't even that. But I'm just saying, like, unrealistic goals that have you believing that you can naturally reach that. I'm not saying you can't, but how you gonna find out if you're taking these shortcuts, all right? You 120 pounds, you want to be 180 shredded within a few months, and then what? What's the cost of that, though? Okay, let's say that is great. Maybe let's say you don't care about the journey. What about your health? You see what I'm saying? You're not. That's not healthy. So these guys on the internet, 2000. What I'm trying to say is this: 2026 naturals, we're taking over for the good. I'm just saying just like that. Naturals, we're taking over for the good. Step aside. We're taking over for the good. Not only for the good of our own self, so we can be the kings of this and that and third. No. Yes. But no. Not at the same time. Like, if you're watching my video, I need you. If there's no you, there's no me, right? At least social media wise, right? It's in my best interest to keep you as healthy as possible, right? Now, yes, I do things that's not healthy sometimes. I eat junk food and in moderation, you know. I do believe in balance, you know. I do believe in eating mostly healthy and fill the rest in with whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? And make sure it works, all right? But make sure I reach my goals, all right? But even when I decide not to lift a lift that I know I can lift, right? 495, easy. I could have easily done that. But the way I felt when I was walking up, it felt like it wasn't going to come up right, so I left it on the ground. That was a decision, not a fail. That was a decision, and I'm cool with it. I posted. I ain't have to post it if I felt like it was something embarrassing. I didn't have to post. I could have just cut that scene out. My 455 was enough. You know what I'm saying? But cause I'm in my 160s now. I'm shredded. But it's almost 3 times my body weight. My body weight 3 times is like 505, 510. I don't know. But I attempted that the other day, and I didn't even do it then. But I did it before. I've done 545 or all that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the point. My point is doing it. Success in a lift doesn't just mean getting it up if it's going to result Is it successful still? Yeah, the lift was still successful, but okay, you gonna be able to do it again? It's your last time lifting. You gonna throw it all away? You're throwing it all. Basically, what I'm saying is you're throwing it all away. All right, just like people that inject stuff, they're throwing away their health for these little goals, just so somebody can say, "Oh, you're big. Oh, you're strong." Just so somebody else could say that. Like, come on, man, is it that important? And these guys be saying things like, I think Greg said something like, "I'm just educating people because they're gonna do it anyways." So that sounds like dealer talk to me. If you think about it, somebody in the streets would say, "Well, if they don't get it from me, they'll get it from somebody else anyways." Sounds pretty similar. That ain't exactly the same, but it sounds pretty similar. So, especially parents, it's a lot of influencers out here influencing, good and bad. And I think the bad outweigh the good right now. We take it back. We gonna flip that around this year. But we need to leave all that in 2025, coming to 2026 on a positive note. And I ain't said throw these guys away either. I'm just saying they need to get with the program. If you ain't under the umbrella, you get wet. You feel me? Comment, like, subscribe, share, watch these other videos. Top 10 misconceptions about weight loss. And watch my New Year's playlist so you can have a healthy, health as well. So you can have a healthy, wealthy program. You know what I'm saying? Come up with some stuff. And if you don't, guess what? I'm here. Ask me in the comments. I got you. Comment, like, subscribe, share, holler back at your boy. Peace.